With every new series of Porsche 911, we have the different models. We've had the standard Carrera, the Carrera S, the Targa, the Cabriolet, the Turbo S, but the model that everybody's always really interested in is this car, the GT3. Now, the GT3 is developed by the motorsport department. It's a car that allows Porsche to homologate its race cars. This effectively is a race car for the road. And unlike all the other 911s, this one runs a naturally aspirated 4-litre high-revving engine. The engine in the back there is virtually identical to Porsche's 911 Cup cars. It revs to 9,000 RPM. In fact, everything about this car is motorsport derived, be it the brakes, the suspension, the aerodynamics. And we've got a track here today, so it'd be rude not to take it out and do some laps in it. So here's a chance now to take the GT3 out on circuit. We're at Bedford Autodrome. It's not a circuit I know particularly well, so we'll go out and maybe do a couple of sighting laps and sort of some of the more restrained driving modes, and then we might sort of up the pace once we've done a few laps. So I'm just in normal at the minute, and let's go and have a run around the circuit. Now, I was out in this car earlier on the road, and it's incredibly good as a road car. I mean, given that these cars are designed for the sort of thing we're just about to go and do, the fact that it rides with such composure and the engine's really tractable is really quite remarkable. It's quite a multi-dimensional car. You know, you sort of think track cars are going to be a little bit, you know, singular in their purpose, but this is a car that really does do everything. So let's have a little drive around here just to get an eye in before we maybe up the speed a little bit, get some heat into the tyres. There's a few changes to the engine to allow it to pass emissions and drive-by noise standards and all the moving goalposts that the guys at the motorsport department so love and so hate, because they have to constantly change their cars to pass these things. But they've actually achieved it, and that's remarkable these days, because everybody else is going down the route of hybrids and turbocharged cars, and frankly we're sort of losing these enthusiast cars every year. We sort of race closer to a greener future. Now, the thing is with this car, and I think with any car that's got its roots in racing, it is all about efficiencies. It's things like the way that it drives, you know, the aerodynamics are more economical. It's pushing itself into the road with 50% more force at high speed, yet there's no more drag. And that's an incredible achievement, and they've done that just by spending countless hours in the wind tunnel and managing the airflow through, over and around the car, and using the air to not only push it but to cool it and feed the engine and all those things that allow this car to do what it does. The other crucial change is that there's no real up in weight. It's still the same weight as the previous car. Well, there's about 5 kilos in it, which is incredible, because the 992 platform it's a bigger car, you know, there's no getting away from it. It's bigger, but yet that motorsport experience has allowed them to create a car that is no heavier really in reality than its predecessor. It follows the usual route that GT3s do, so you've got things like thinner glass, polyurethane bumpers, carbon fibre where possible, lighter wheels, lighter brakes, lighter suspension. And the other key thing, speaking of suspension, is the front axle. The front axle is hugely changed over the old car. The old car, like all 911s and the current Carreras and the Turbo, uses a McPherson strut system. This car's got double wishbones. They're basically lifted directly from the Cup cars. This is a big flowing circuit, this. There's some quite tight bends in it, so we'll just go around and have a couple of sighting laps. Now, you might have heard a lot of people complaining about the GT3 not sounding as good as it used to, because we've had to add all sorts of things like particulate filters in the exhausts and stuff like that. Now, my experience of that when I was lucky enough to ride in the prototype was that that's just not the case. I mean, this is just in the normal mode at the minute, and it sounds pretty special to me. So, you know, let's go and finish this lap, and then we'll maybe change the modes a little bit and up the ante and see what it can do when we're a little bit more committed. It's a good fun circuit, this. Not using the full back straight, which is where we'd really wind it up to its high speed and take advantage of the aerodynamics. But I mean, even at the speeds I'll be doing, I'll be able to feel the differences over the old car and over the standard Carreras as well. So we're just about to come up for a full lap now, and let's just slow down for a second. I'll pop it into track mode. Now track mode changes the chassis, and I'm changing the engine and drivetrain to track mode as well. Got a little warning up on there for the tyre pressures, but I'm okay, they'll sort themselves out. So I'm in manual, I've got the sports exhaust system, so I'll start upping the pace a little bit around here and see what it can do. The interesting thing with this car is it doesn't actually have any more horsepower really than the previous GT product, which was a Speedster. So it's a 4-litre naturally aspirated flat six that puts out 510 horsepower. Now that's incredible these days. That one, not only is the GT department producing an engine that's still naturally aspirated in a world of hybrids and turbocharged engines, but it's doing so and getting to go past all the regulations and for emissions and drive-by noise and all that sort of thing. I mean, this does feel like a bit of an end-of-days car, a car that what a thing. Like, what it feels like a car that, you know, we're coming to the end of. This is not the type of car that we're going to be able to build and buy anymore, because, you know, the world's going electric and these things are difficult to justify, but they're made in such tiny numbers that you've got to sort of think that, you know, they've got to let us keep building these things, because what a thing to have, what an incredible thing. Now obviously, being a GT product, it's very, very closely related to the race cars. I mean, it really is essentially a race engine in the back there, and this thing rests in 9,000 RPM, and what a thing it is too. The big thing this car has different over its predecessor GT3s is, like I said earlier on, they've not done anything really to up the power. They've managed the engine as such to allow them to keep offering it, but what they've done here is play with the chassis. Now, and key to that is a new front axle. The front axle, which I'm feeling through this steering here, which is now double wishbone. So the old cars had a McPherson strut setup. This is a double wishbone, basically lifted straight from the Cup cars. And the difference that makes is really quite marked in regards to the turning. Previous GT3s and GT3 RXs, brilliant as they are, there was always a little bit of movement around the nose. And what this car does is it just plants that nose right into the car. You just turn it and it pivots much quicker. There's none of that sort of turn and weight that you used to get. What's incredible though is that engine. God, it just keeps on giving. You know, it caught me out a little bit there. I was going a little bit too fast with the engine. There you go, there's 9,000 revs. Anybody that says this engine doesn't sound good, they need to be sitting where I'm sitting, because bloody hell, it sounds fantastic. What a thing, what an incredible car. I mean, everybody asks why they keep on producing these cars, but with every generation they just get better and better and better, and you just got to wonder where do they go after this. You know, there's an RS in the pipeline, and good God, this thing's already demonstrably quicker than the previous RS, so where they're going to go with the next car, anybody can only guess where that's going to be, but we'll all know that it's going to be more aerodynamically efficient, probably lighter still, faster. I just can't conceive how incredible that car is going to be when they've already set such a high bar with this one. What a thing. Just wonderful. Fantastic. Just doesn't get much better than this, does it? Wow, well I was supposed to get out of the car now and do a little walk around, but I've got about 10 minutes before the track closes. I've got about 28 miles worth of fuel, so sorry guys, I'm going to go.